Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time for lead actor and actress predictions for the month of August. For Best Actor, we actually recorded this video and had Cillian Murphy at #1, and then it didn't really sit right. Didn't really sit right with me after recording. It's valid that he's in one of the biggest movies of the year, and that certainly helps, but I don't see people coming away from the movie being like, he should win the Oscar. I see a lot of nominate him. I even see he should get nominated and RDJ should win. Yeah. Which is kind of weird. Usually the Best Actor winner, you know, there's people calling for like, oh, this is a win-worthy performance. But I don't know if the performance generates as much passion as other candidates might. And we're really looking heavily at Bradley Cooper for having all that goddamn makeup and probably doing the most. DiCaprio, I think, will definitely get nominated. I mean, it might be his best performance, as I have said and other people have said. It's up there. I don't know if he wins, though. It just, again, you know, with him and De Niro, I just feel like they don't need to win again, as opposed to somebody who hasn't won. With Cillian Murphy, he is doing a transformation in a big biopic, but I think he does lack the type of Oscar scene that it kind of makes him like an obvious frontrunner. Bradley Cooper is going to have the biggest Oscar baity performance, but if the movie is underwhelming in the way that we're predicting it, I don't know if he can get to the win. Maybe he can still win. I mean, we had Brendan Fraser break a long streak where actors who weren't in a Best Picture nominee didn't win the Oscar. But I feel like to an extent, Bradley Cooper is trying so hard to win, and is like kind of like directing himself to the win. I don't think he feels like an underdog. And I don't know how that important that is nowadays, but certainly last year it was. Paul Giamatti or even Cillian Murphy has a better career story there. Yeah, Bradley Cooper is just like gonna get onto the stage and be like, I want to thank Bradley Cooper for giving me this role, and it just doesn't feel as like inspiring as, you know, Brendan Fraser being like, Darren Aronofsky believed in me. Paul Giamatti, you know, when we go to him, I think maybe he's not doing a biopic thing, he's not doing a transformation. In fact, he's really being a Paul Giamatti type of character. But at the same time, you know, it would feel nice to give him an Oscar at this point in his career. The Holdovers might be that kind of crowd pleaser that can win something. When I think about what's Paul Giamatti's Oscar scene, does he have an Oscar scene? Because that's really what it could come down to. I thought, you know, maybe he'll be at the dinner table and he's a repressed, curmudgeon-y old man, but then he's going to break a little bit and he's going to be like, I just want to thank my family. It could break people in the audience. If he gets that moment, that could be like, ooh. This also might be a film that people say utilizes his talents in the best way, because he's allowed to be comedic and dramatic at once, but he also gets to do the thing where he's like, my life is a little bit fucked up, and the world is just not seeing me as a human being. So it could be like, oh, this is the movie that utilizes his talents. This is his time. But again, I think it really coattails on whether we feel good about the movie or not. I mean, look, also a lot of the Best Actor winners come out of TIFF. Well, actually, no, King Richard wasn't there. Yeah, well, King Richard was like essentially that kind of thing. But, you know, Best Actor, I do think it could be quite competitive. Colman Domingo is also doing a big transformy performance. We didn't really talk about that because I think we're predicting his movie is going to be less strong than all the others in picture, and this might really be a lone Best Actor play. But Colman Domingo is also in Color Purple. He's also going to be in a movie called Sing Sing that's at TIFF. It's definitely like his moment to get nominated, but I think it's just going to be about the nomination and not the win. I think he's going to have easy Oscar clips too. I think the material is going to give him Oscar clips. Kingsley Ben-Adir, I had a very easy time moving him off the top 5. You know, earlier in the year we were like, oh my god, he's going to be in winning contention. He's playing freaking Bob Marley, the director of King Richard. But, you know, that trailer comes out and you think, okay, so it's just like all the other musical biopics then, in a sense. Or it's just kind of like as boring as the rest of them. It also has an I Want to Dance with Somebody type release date where they still haven't said if it's coming out limited this year, even though they're releasing it January 12th. So it's like, well, you're going to like limited release that so that he can get in the Oscar conversation, right? You want him to be eligible, right? And they're like, And it's like, well, as good as he looks in the movie, I don't know if it looks like he's going to be mind-blowing in it. So I don't have him in the top 5, and I should have had Paul Giamatti the whole time. Barry Keoghan for Saltburn. I think it's going to be a showcase for him, whether he can squeeze into this 5. We'll just have to see. I'm curious about Saltburn. He could very well be a force to be reckoned with, though. And even though this top 5 feels really tight, I do wonder if Saltburn's a big contender.
I feel like he might be undeniably a part of what goes along with it, and then we're in trouble because I want this actually to be the 5 right now. But what if Barry Keoghan's so good that I want him to be in?
Jeffrey Wright from American Fiction enters the top 10 after that movie announced that it was going to be at TIFF. We know Jeffrey Wright is playing Thelonious Monk, a writer and musician. This movie is about his writing excursions. Jeffrey Wright is doing a biopic. That's all that we need to say. Jeffrey Wright is somebody who I can easily see having a moment where people say it's time to give him an Oscar nomination. It's kind of the same with Coleman Domingo. Matt Damon for Air, I mean, I still,
I think that's gonna happen.
Probably not gonna happen. Michael Fassbender for The Killer. I don't even know if this movie was in Best Picture, if he would come along with that or not. Koji Yakusho for Perfect Days. Maybe he'll get some critics' attention. I just think it's too crowded for him to actually get in there.
You could put him above Matt Damon for Air, though.
I don't know about that.
I think you could consider Anthony Hopkins for, what is it, 1 year?
I don't know if he's gonna be actually the lead in that or not. I just don't know if it's gonna be him or the younger version of him, or they're gonna split screen time. I mean, he's playing Sigmund Freud in Freud's Last Session, but if that movie were announced for TIFF, I would have him at maybe number 8 or 9, but it wasn't announced, so I don't even know if it's coming out this year. Teo Yu for Past Lives. I don't really see him rising up there. Adam Driver for Ferrari. I don't know. He just looks like he's just walking around with sunglasses. I don't really know what to say about it. David Strathairn for A Little Prayer. Some people think that there is potential for him with the Sundance breakout, but you know, unlike Living, this movie is not making an appearance at TIFF, so I don't really see what is going to happen with it. Jamie Foxx for The Burial is a TIFF contender that I wanted to take note of. Joaquin Phoenix for Napoleon. And Peter Sarsgaard for Memory, who I believe is playing somebody with dementia. Paul Bettany for The Collaboration. That movie also was not announced for any festivals, so that makes me move him down. Elliot Page for Close to You. That seems like a very small but personal project that he also co-wrote. That could be interesting. It doesn't really strike me as being very Oscar-y, but it could be a big role for him. Best Actress. Now, I'm a little torn here, see. I mean, technically, I have Anatomy of a Fall and Color Purple as, like, maybe getting into Best Picture. Anatomy of a Fall I feel weirdly better about just because it has such a big presence this fall. It's just going to have such a big presence. Now, Sandra Hüller, I have no doubt in my mind right now that she is going to be the critic sweeper, by far. If Fantasia Barrino is winning the Oscar, or if Jessica Lange is winning the... I don't even know if that movie exists, but if that were happening, they would not sweep the Critics Awards. At the minimum, this is Colin Farrell, Banshees level, like, critics sweeping. Does that get you the Oscar? Definitely not always. No. Definitely not always.
I honestly think the answer is no, and you kind of said it yourself. I don't think she'll get the Oscar. Really.
But she has lots of English-speaking awards clips, close-ups. I mean, I guess it's not, like, breaking down in the way that, like, you might think, but it's really excellent stuff.
Is it like, oh, that's a masterclass in acting?
Oh, it's, like, undoubtedly.
Because listen. No, but that's... I'm not saying that as a positive. I'm saying... the masterclass in acting doesn't always get it. Because sometimes the masterclass in acting is holding back your tears.
No, it's actually, like, easily showy enough, you know? Like, It's not going to be hard for a regular audience member to appreciate what she's doing. It's not Marion Cotillard in 2 Days, One Night.
Fantasia Barrino, I obviously think, might just be the one who's doing the most because she's going to be singing and crying. You know, maybe even some saliva or something, like some snot. I don't know.
But I'm just thinking, you know... if that movie is not in Best Picture, and I, for some reason I feel less confident that it will be, what do you do with that thing? I mean, does it still win Best Actress? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that happens, though.
It doesn't really, I mean...
The Eyes of Tammy Faye, you know, it happens in the actress category.
And guess who it happens to?
Judy.
It doesn't happen to people who are making, like, basically their acting debut. Jennifer Hudson won an Oscar for Dreamgirls. In supporting...
Yeah.
And that movie was nominated for a lot of Oscars. Yeah. If this has the same success, maybe that could still happen.
Also, for Lady Gaga not to win for A Star Is Born was interesting, too. Because she absolutely gave an Oscar-worthy performance in that. And she did what it takes to get you an Oscar win.
Sandra Hüller, she does have a larger body of work behind her, but because she's a German actress, a lot of that work is not as well known to, like, the plebs. But this is really her year for people to start recognizing that she does have a really great body of work behind her. She has 2 really big films this year. I don't know, she's having a great year, honestly, a great year.
Well, if Anatomy of a Fall is in Best Picture, I'm gonna say that she has the edge. Let's say that.
Yeah, well, if Color Purple isn't.
Yeah, certainly.
Where is Long Day's Journey in Tonight? And does that movie exist? And why isn't it at TIFF?
Well, that's the other one I think could potentially win.
I mean, Jessica Lange won the Tony for it. That's important.
I mean, there's no announcement as to when this movie's going to come out. The last news that I can find on it is that the filming wrapped in November 28th of 2022. I don't think it has a distributor. I don't think this is going to come out this year.
So we'll hedge our bets on 2 other people.
Should we like literally take her off?
Yeah, I don't really understand what the path is.
Because if you're going to skip festivals, then you're done. Like, what are you waiting for? You don't have a distributor. If you don't have a distributor, you have to go to festivals to sell your movie. I don't see what other way there is to do it.
All right, well, we'll have her off this time. I don't know what to tell you. That's fine. We can do that. Greta Lee for Past Lives. You know, I guess I'm not as convinced that she's a lock, because there could be a situation where Past Lives is a little closer to women talking than we'd like, although I don't think it's actually going to end up there. But I think she's going to be solidly in there if the movie's in Best Picture for sure. For the other 2 slots, now that we have 2 open slots instead of 1, I feel like Natalie Portman in May, December is still plenty possible. Netflix is pushing it. I can see it getting a couple acting nominations even with nothing else, just being purely an acting play. Natalie Portman has an Oscar scene. The performance is maybe a little bit strange, but there, you know, you can be a little bit of an off-kilter performance and still get nominated. So I think you could do that. And Natalie Portman's like, you know, that's big. Other contenders, you know, Carey Mulligan for Maestro. She's got plenty to do. I think if the movie is in Best Picture, she'd probably go along with it. I just think that if it's not, the movie's going to take some hits somewhere or another. But if I say I don't want to have Jessica Lange, then Carey Mulligan almost bumps up. It'd be weird if Maestro got makeup and 2 lead acting nominations.
Sure.
And possibly
but it kind of fits, doesn't it? Because it's like a well-done movie that just doesn't hit with people, so maybe it just doesn't get into Best Picture, but it gets the other nominations, kind of like Ma Rainey.
We could try it. I mean, the other thing that I want to consider is Emma Stone for Poor Things, putting her back in, because if that movie's in Best Picture, she'll probably get nominated. And with the release date being pushed back to December, now the movie has a New York Film Festival slot.
I could see it being the movie that's too weird for the Oscars, though. Like, that's genuinely weird and off-kilter and, like, doesn't try to bring you back in.
Like White Noise or something.
Yeah.
But maybe more acclaim than that, though. I feel like it's going to be really good, though.
I think so, too.
And I think it could be easily a tech player in a few categories. You got Margot Robbie for Barbie. Some people watch the movie and they seem like kind of convinced that she's a player, but I kind of still maintain the position that I thought before the movie came out.
I think she was definitely better than I expected. She made Barbie much more layered than I thought she would. But I share some skepticism for being like a little bit of a comedic performance too. Like, that doesn't exactly fit the bill of a nomination. And I also think people are talking much more about how Ryan Gosling needs his Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
But look, if Barbie overperforms and it feels like film Twitter is voting at the Oscars when we get the nominations, we could see Barbie get in there, and she'll have a Golden Globe comedy nomination. So I don't think it's that bad, and I honestly do wonder if she could maybe get a SAG. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I think that SAG is possible too.
So, you know, she's not nowhere. I don't think she gets in everywhere.
Well, she played Barbie in the Barbie biopic, so, you know, it's kind of, and that movie's going to be in
the Barbie biopic. I don't know if she takes with people who aren't like the biggest fans of Barbie.
I also could see, like, even if she gets Critics' Choice and SAG, the Oscars just not doing it, you know? Annette Bening and Nyad, that's going to TIFF. It wouldn't be crazy if she popped up as a new Best Actress contender. And the same kind of goes for Kate Winslet for Lee. They're both playing real people.
There's definitely a good chance that someone pops up out of TIFF or out of Venice. Could be Emma Stone, could be Kate Winslet, could be Annette Bening.
Once again, you know, we are kind of downplaying the fall fests right now.
No, but it's not. I don't think we're downplaying it. I think this is genuinely a different year.
Well, what if we just put Emma Stone in?
We've never forecasted a year where we don't predict the fall festivals to have that many movies getting nominated.
Well, what if we put Emma Stone in?
You could, but I just think the whole thing about being like, oh, well, this year it can't be that different. Well, it already does look kind of different.
So who's in? Carey Mulligan. Well, Carey Mulligan's also a fall.
Carey Mulligan's not that bad of a bet, is she?
No, not really.
You know, I would love to see Teyana Taylor pop up. Like, if anything unexpected happens, I could see Teyana Taylor getting a grassroots campaign, okay? That's my maybe there's a grassroots campaign somewhere for somebody is Teyana Taylor.
Kaylee Spandy for Priscilla. I think this actress is a little too new to people, and I think that she's going to be just, like, very not, like, showing a lot, as Sofia Coppola likes her protagonist to not do. Ingenue Ellis for Origin. You know, Origin seems like it might just be a Venice, or maybe it's Venice Telluride. I'm interested in it. Those are lead actor predictions. We will have other acting predictions coming out soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Will this be the first year that no actors can campaign for their roles?